the Grois. Duns. Oh! What is this you have, furry little man? Oh, look at this. You fix? You fix? You fixed. Well done, assisted. Well done. What a good orangutan. Oh, is a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. This patronizing. No. You have done well. Time for a treat, Lance. Little Lance, where are you? Little Lance. Junior Speaker Draknor has fixed Strange Box. Please fetch a fine reliquary as a reward for a job well done. Now, orangutan. Now you get to have fine quality reliquary as present, but you are not going to eat it, correct? You remember what happened last time with the lightning and the horses? Yes? Yes. No. Yes. Thank you, little Lance. Here you are, Junior Speaker, for a job well done. Okay, well, if this is working, we can begin. I will trim all this out in post-production. Oh. Hello, I am Suleiman. I am doing monologue for this one. Is long time coming, I think you can agree. Many people ask me, Suleiman, you are so cool and handsome. Why are you doing the things that you do? This is because, yes, I admit, cool and handsome as I am, sometimes I am near things that appear quite strange. Things burning you wouldn't expect to be burning. Animals that are sort of one thing and not quite another. Ammunition that accelerates the end of the world. This is true, I am near all these things. Is part of my whole deal. Anyway, in this instance, people ask me, Suleiman, why do you fuss with Strange Box? And I tell them, Box allows me to speak to people in the future. They can hear my words as if I am there speaking to them myself. And they say, I have somewhere else to be, and they go away because they do not believe me. They think I am ridiculous. Or worse, they think I have no interiority. That I am just silly man, here to make people laugh, or worse, chuckle nervously. But no. Suleiman want things just like you. I am not near fires or strange beasts by accident. I want to poke and prod and agitate things and see what happens. And I want to record what it is that I have seen because it's interesting. And I want to share with other people. I want someone to know the things I have learned and to know that I have done these things. I know much. I have survived things others have not. I have seen astonishing things here at the end of the world. And very likely me and all of Legion will die. But even if we do, I want to leave something. Some trace of my story. Some record of what I saw and what I did. Because everyone deserves a chance to have their story heard. Even silly little man like Suleiman, yes? So, if you have heard me speaking, then it's success. I have sent my voice into the future, and you are hearing me now. Suleiman is now immortal. Is good first monologue. Surely I will do the rest of them. Not sure how the others usually end monologues. How does Suleiman sign off? Oh no, the music is already playing. Keep on legioning. And in the end, we all were OATHSWORN. Except me, I am not actually OATHSWORN.
Yeah, so before we get into the meat of what we're doing here today, the grist of what we're doing here today, we've got a couple of things to go over. One is that we missed a downtime scene, which is we have a spy master. McLeod is the spy master, and he has 2 spies available. Gemma, who has been getting some strange looks maybe from the rest of the Legion, and Argyle. Who, when we saw both of them previously, had discovered stashes of supplies in Skydagger. Kris, you are generally in charge of Nicolaj, or at least sometimes, often piloting Nicolaj. I think we talked offline about assigning both of them to like gathering intel in order to have the intel to spend. I think Matthew at least suggested that. To review a little bit about how Spy Masters work, you either do short-term projects or you do long-term projects. Long-term projects, we haven't had enough time since getting a Spy Master for them to be valid. And so the usual thing that you can do in the short term is assign them to generate more intel.
Yes. Which is just interrogate. It's the simple assignment that does that.
Yes, exactly. They can recover. They don't have anything to recover from. At least I don't think so. Neither of them are injured, are they? Is Gemma injured?
Gemma can't be injured.
Gemma can't be injured. Everyone knows this.
Until also never die.
Yeah, so the other two things that can be done are interrogate, look at the commander's list of intel questions. Your spy is sent on a mission can answer 1 question from any list whenever missions are presented by the GM. I think we can just translate into gather +1 intel. And then the other one is blackmail. Your spy bribes or threatens as needed. Add +1D to an acquire assets roll, which I think we are past that point. All that is to say, it's maybe not as much a decision, but it is a decision.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, what is even isn't interrogate the only thing that we really can do?
It is. I guess I'm just looking for like a little bit of like, what does it look like for Nicolaj to ask these two to look for intel here at Skydagger?
I think part of it is like, beyond the sort of, because we had the bit where it's like, what are good and bad things that we find around Skydagger, but I feel like there's, okay, now do like a deeper level of checking what is here.
Yeah.
Like, look in the rooms that, it's like, that one's still on fire. How on fire? How much can we get through that fire if at all possible, right? Like, do a more thorough. I also kind of like the other, that like sending Argyle to do that, and then asking Gemma to talk to Felix.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Felix was like in that scene. Felix was really weirding out Nicolaj.
Yeah, totally.
And Gemma's also really weird, and so it's just like, you might have a better time of this than I did.
Absolutely, yeah. Put the boots to him. Awesome. I like that a lot.
You're both weird guys. Have fun.
This person's a little bit weird. I bet they know something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the other thing that we need to do is we discovered that we did a rule wrong. Believe it or not, we got part of Band of Blades rules wrong. Which is that in the middle of the mission where we were dealing with Draknor at the bridge, Kayo resisted harm to protect the squad and resisted the damage down from tier 5 to tier 3, which saved other people, but the damage left over would have, rather than applying level 3 harm to people, would have just killed one of the rookies outright.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a pretty good fictional idea, I think, of what that looks like. What I want to check in with y'all is, 1, do we make that correction, or do we just let the previous scene stand? And if we do move forward with that correction, who is it that takes the level 3 harm? I'm good either way. I want to know what y'all think.
Do you mean who is it that dies?
Yeah.
Do you want to go over the options on recording?
In terms of who could take the...
Who could die?
Yeah. So that was the Ember Wolves. Obeek was being played by Gavin, and so resisted it down to level 2 harm. And to be clear, to say this a little bit more for the recording, the rule is that if a rookie takes harm, regardless of how Forge in the Dark harm works, because they're an NPC rookie at that time, they would just die. And the number of people that would take that harm scales with the tier of harm that would have been taken. So if 5 rookies would have taken tier 5 harm, that would have killed all 5 of them. Kayo brought the tier down to 3 with the resistance, which means 3 people would take the harm. Kayo, Obeek, who are both player characters, and then a rookie who wasn't a player character. Out of which we have Shukt, Yvonne, Bowie, and Tyre.
And even after that, the other rookies still have the level 3 harms, correct?
I think with this...
Or just Shukt, because Shukt was a player character at the time.
Shukt was... No, Shukt was no longer a player character at that point because you had switched to Aoife.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think actually what would happen here is this. One of these rookies would die, and the others would no longer have level 3 harm, which maybe would actually be better for y'all in the long run.
That does sound better.
Yeah. Well, Shukt is a good pick to not die because they got XP on that mission and they could become a soldier. Not that, we're at the end game, it doesn't super matter, but, if there's, engagement roles related to having soldiers on the squad, I don't know. It's better than nothing.
There's going to be a lot of engagement roles coming up.
And I would rather have more people alive, so making the rules change sounds... Or not alive, but, up and at them, because currently, all of the Ember Wolves, save for Obeek, are kind of out of action, because they all have level 3 harm.
Yeah. One option is Bowie, because Bowie was not really in that scene. So
Bowie was not, yeah.
Bowie could have died off screen there.
Oh.
Well, I thought we were going to do the dies in camp from Dragon.
That was my thinking, is that
it could have been from that same moment. We just didn't see it happen.
No, absolutely. My thinking here is that when we brought them back, it seemed like they had tier 3 harm, and a couple of them recover, and one of them doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's bad. And my thinking there was actually tier, because we're most emotionally invested in tier out of those remaining 3, I think.
Yeah, because then I was thinking about Ivan versus, was it tier or Tyre?
I always say tier.
I think.
Okay.
No, wait, that's not true. I think I said
introduced
Tyre.
him as Tyre.
That's why I brought that up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tyre.
Between Ivan and Tyre, Tyre's gotten a lot more screen time and character development. So it depends if we want that, pathos or not.
Have we earned the privilege to bury our gays? He says, at the end of this fucking campaign.
We have a lot of gays.
Is Tyre gay?
A lot of the gays are alive.
Well, Tyre's
Pentos died real early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Bane's still around.
Yeah.
And Pentos is still around in quotation marks. Sorry.
Yeah, Tyre has a more developed non-binary gender.
Everyone
than,
in the
most
Legion
of
is
the
gay.
Characters. Yeah. This is obvious. But
it's in the show notes.
When it comes to gender, I feel like Tyre is one of the only characters we've actually developed a non-binary gender for.
I'm Shukt, but Shukt just showed up.
Yeah. I'm just asking, did we earn it? Can we still do it?
I admit
and feel good about it.
I either forgotten or overlooked that element of it. I'm happy to take people off the list for whatever reason. I think there's also something poetic about the idea of Yvonne having been the one to say, "Oh, that's Draknor," and then Draknor is the reason that Yvonne dies.
Mm-hmm.
Just to really check in, it sounds like we're all on board tactically with the idea of making this change. If anyone is not loving the idea of like going back on something that we did in a scene and saying it happened this way, please don't hesitate to say so, or you can just message me.
I mean, it's extremely accurate to have a situation where a bunch of people got very injured in a battle, and then they just like sat in a hotel or not a hotel, in a hospital for a while, and like some of them just don't make it through the like.
And I think Gavin mentioned it, but it does put the Obik and Kayo conversation in a different light if they only find out like, oh, you didn't actually save that one person after the fact, and Kayo's just like, nah.
Well, yeah, it's especially grimdark that we tried our best and failed to save them.
Absolutely.
Like we got them all the way home, and it wasn't good enough.
Yeah. It hurts more having gotten the back here. It's like, okay, they're not in great shape, but they're at least alive. No, they're not.
Could we roll a die to decide?
I'd be okay with that. Matthew, do you have a thought there?
So is Tyre the one whose gender was like a shadow, or whatever the phrase was?
Yeah, Tyre, born of Umber, and like I mentioned offhandedly that.
Tyre's born of?
Oh, am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking of Ivan.
Person?
Ivan's born of Umber.
Thinking of a different person.
Yeah.
Who's
Yvonne
born
is
of
born of
Ivan's
Umber.
born of Umber.
I was like,
Yeah,
Yvonne.
I was just like, we only met Tyre like once.
Yeah.
Tyre's a baby boy.
Yeah, Tyre was like the very, very rookie one from when we were captured by the other Legion.
There's a lot of
Lance
characters.
talked Tyre into being like, hey, let me out. And Tyre was like, I don't know. I don't know if I should do this.
Lance is like, but I'm cool, I promise.
And Ashley was trying to convince them that there was a carabiner up their ass.
That's true. That's true.
I mixed up Tyre and Yvonne. Yvonne's the one with the actually developed non-binary gender.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Well,
so I'm not interested in it being a dice roll because I think that Tyre is the obvious choice and is much more interesting.
I think so.
I have less qualms about this now.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, yeah, there's so many fucking characters. It's so hard to keep this all straight.
Sure. Well, I keep trying to reduce the number of characters, but
No.
I will recruit more. I will.
you do it.
There's no chance. Has everybody weighed in? Chris, how do you feel about Tyre dying?
No, yeah, I said I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Then I say we just lock it in. We could talk about it for another like 30 minutes
We could.
easily. But I say we just lock it in.
Sounds good.
How does Kayo discover that Tyre or is it like does Tyre come looking for Kayo?
Before dying? Like, just before, like, just gone? Oh. Whoa.
Yeah, Kayo, where are you in the keep? What are you doing?
Oh, boy. Well, Kayo had to recover for a bit, so... Are
you, like, coming back for a checkup or something like that?
I'm thinking either that or because Kayo... like Kayo's whole name is Builder Kayo, like is helping like reinforce pits of walls or like rooms that were really fire damaged.
Yeah, I think you hear like calling weakly from across the like courtyard. Tyre is like slowly shuffling your way.
Yeah, I think I would put down what they're doing and just go over to Tyre and be like, what are you doing here out of the medic tent? Why are you here? And like is half carrying him.
Yeah, he looks like he's like beyond the point of a fever. He looks like he's got like consumption all the way through.
Okay, is just going to fully carry him then. Like it does. Like no, you're not walking anywhere.
Like,
it's just like
collapses in your arms.
Okay, let's just get you back to there.
I just want
to save your energy. You can tell me later.
You think for a moment that he's got like something in his pocket or something like that that's like falling out of place. Except his body is like dissolving.
Yeah.
It's like it's getting caught on the wind. Like a sack of pollen.
Yeah. You know how Kayo now has this miasma blight, and so there's just like kind of fumes coming off of them every now and then.
Absolutely.
Does it just kind of like that but more intense?
Absolutely.
As they're just kind of like
It's just-
blown away.
Yeah. It takes less than a minute, and he's not even there anymore.
Mm.
I think everyone nearby is just has just stopped and is just watching.
I think it takes Kayo a minute to compose himself again before continuing to the medic tent to let them know what happened. And then just doesn't talk to anyone for the rest of that day, as much as possible.
Does anything else happen here? Or do we talked a little bit about like a flashback with the marshal, with the previous marshal. I don't know if we want to do that there.
Well, I suggested it, but it's up to you, Kris. It would be like a wholesome, like, memory of the marshal. It wouldn't be like me looking for an excuse to punch more.
No, I was just laughing at like wholesome and the marshal are not usually words that I'd hear together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can abstract a little bit. It would be like what I imagine the marshal would talk about is like the last time somebody died under Kayo's supervision. It was it was Walut in the canyon, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had that discussion of like the reason Walut did that was because Kayo was down in the canyon or like out of position, and Walut was trying to do like a setup action and died for it. And the marshal says to the squad, "This is your heavy. They are exactly where they want to be." But then like the other scene like this would flash back to is like Marshall and Kayo alone, where Marshall's like, "You did a good job. You did your best. That's all we require of you. You're gonna lose people. We've lost people before. You've lost people before. It happens. You're gonna be okay," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. We can just keep it as that abstraction, but that was what I was gonna do.
Is there a particular like actionable piece of advice Marshall says like whenever you lose someone? Or maybe even like a practice that Marshall had that isn't necessarily what gets passed on to Kayo, but Kayo has to find something of their own.
I got two ideas. One is Marshall saying like, I always tell myself this too shall pass. And like by the next day I'm better.
Mm-hmm.
And the other idea is maybe I could bring in the cigar here. No, never mind. I was gonna be like, he writes down everyone's name, and he's like, no, he doesn't do that.
Or no, I like the idea of like, I'm putting words in your mouth here now, but it's like, I light a cigar and I spend one cigar thinking about everything that person did, and then once the cigar is done, I give myself permission to move on.
Yeah, maybe it's this is where I reveal that the marshal was, of course, Mitzrayim the whole time. And like he has like a yahrzeit candle that he lights whenever somebody dies and just like watches it until it reaches a line or something and blows it out for the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
Kris, is there something Kayo does to like...
Yeah, I think... I think it's they go about the rest of their day, and when they get back to their tent, quarters, room, I don't quite remember what the like living and sleeping situation was here at Skydagger, because
it's not great.
Yeah,
it's not great, but you're a specialist. I think you get a room.
Oof. But yeah, I think Kayo's tower shield, I think, had like a really big bird on it.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's like the carving of the bird looks fine, but it's like weirdly incomplete. And I think that is because Kayo like has been carving more feathers into the wings for people that die.
Oh, that's really good.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Endgame. There are several objectives that need to be completed before the keep can hold against the undead during the winter months. Most of these play out as a series of short missions. Each mission occurs at approximately the same time, so specialists and squads can only be assigned to one mission each. The commander decides in what order the missions will be played out, the marshal determines who is assigned to each, and the quartermaster decides what resources are assigned to each task. There are 5 objectives that need to be completed before the final wave of Never assaults the keep. Skip or fail any of these, and tremendous risks will make it almost impossible to keep Zel Sha'el from being completely overrun. While there is not a required order to complete them, it is recommended that the Legion tackles them in the order presented below. I've modified these a little bit from the books. I'm going to send each of you an objective to read to the rest of the group. Kris, please go first.
Reinforce the gates. Skydagger is sturdy, but it's also a ruin. Critical parts of the front gates must be rebuilt and restored to make defending the fortress viable. Start a 10-step clock. Assign a specialist and a squad. Roll once before each other mission. Add +1 dice for each laborer who contributes.
Devin, could you read the next one, please?
Close the tunnels. Recon. The warren of tunnels beneath Skydagger provides shelter to the refugees, but it's also a vulnerable point of ingress. Lead a recon team in and use explosives to detonate crucial locations in the tunnel network to block them off, without bringing the whole place down. 8-step clock. Find the weak point. 6-step clock. Plant the explosives. Assign 1 squad and 2 specialists to a mission to close the tunnels and prevent Never from getting through the vulnerable paths.
Gavin, could you read the next one, please?
Assemble the anti-siege defenses. Supply. There's equipment in place to protect against a siege, but they're positioned on the cliffs and they're out of repair. Get your munitions to the cliff, take possession of them, and get them in working order. 6-step clock. Get to the cliffside positions. 8-step clock. Get the anti-siege defenses in working order. Position and repair the weapons on the cliffs above.
Matthew, could you read the next one, please?
Sure. Complete the burial. Religious. The flame of the chosen has lit your way, but it is calling more than that. The star things are drawn to the burning willow's light. Finish the long-awaited funeral of the chosen Asmada, so that the sky will leave you in peace, for now. Assign a squad and up to 3 specialists to fend off attackers and complete the ritual. 2 racing clocks. An 8-step clock, finish the burial, and an 8-step clock, the stars claim the burning corpse for their own.
And finally, hold the lower pass assault. The enemy vanguard is on the march. Hold them off and buy the other squads time to complete their preparations. Assign a squad and up to 3 specialists to withstand 3 waves of dangers never. I'll put all of this in the mission briefs.
There's a lot of these that are like multiple chosen. Or not multiple chosen, multiple specialists.
So any of those that say assign X specialists is really like assign up to that many specialists.
Okay.
I think you have to have at least 1 specialist on each one, though, to lead.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It might be good if we could, for our own purposes, make like a Scratch Google Doc.
100%. Here, I'll just share the document that I have all this in.
Hell yeah.
Delightful.
I think there's some obvious people for some of these, but
Well, we can write it down in mission discussions, can't we? Or I guess the Google Doc is fine.
I just think a Google Doc might be helpful because we might want to move things around.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I'm a fucking
Yeah,
sicko and I'm writing this all down on a piece of paper that none of you can see.
I appreciate you,
Excellent.
Devin. And yeah, to reiterate, you can do these in any order, although very clearly one of them is benefits from being the one that you do.
Kayo has the most rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
That's
obvious.
the thing. Kayo makes sense for both. The reinforcing the gates and the lower pass, though.
I mean, Aoife is going to be on the lower pass, I think, for sure.
That makes sense. Nabane feels like an obvious pick for the complete the burial.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. That's full
I think
circle for
McLeod is going to be there too.
All right, I'm gonna put.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna start bulleting so we can sort of keep track. Please go.
I was going to say Waloot probably in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Loot's our recon for sure.
I don't know who to put on siege weapons though.
That's another one where I thought Kayo would make sense, yeah.
Like Lance would be good at yelling people to do stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Lance should go on the assault mission,
Yeah.
actually.
Same.
oh, okay.
Because Lance's group actions are overpowered.
They are kind of. To be clear, the clocks that you see here are the ones that you know have to be completed. There may be other clocks, depending on circumstances.
Well, I think Waloot and the Blight Boys are probably going to go in the tunnels. Just because
So by
I think Ashling should be down
Sorry,
there
go
too, because Ashling's the fucking bomb lord.
I mean, Ashling's good at fighting,
Shit.
which would be good for assault.
Ashling does love bombs.
Ashling has good
Ashling
rig,
does have
right?
good rig, right? Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
the anti-siege
that might be-
defenses feels like an Ashling place.
Gate defense?
Yeah.
No,
No,
the
Reinforce the gates?
siege weapons one.
Oh.
Because we don't have anybody on that right now. I think that's a interesting.
Yeah, they're not a
idea.
specialist though.
It's true.
But that's okay. They don't need.
Oh,
to
we
be
don't have to have a specialist?
4 people on each.
On each?
Yes.
So we roll engagement for
You're
these.
going to roll engagement for all of these, including reinforce the gates.
Yeah. So
What type is reinforce the gates?
I think
Oh, that's
reinforced
a
the
good
gates.
question.
Because that will impact things.
well that I mean I think
No,
in
you're
the
right. You're right. That
base
one does
game,
not.
that one doesn't have a
That one does not have an engagement roll. Never mind. That is like a last long-term project you have to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Well-
it meant to say for the assemble the anti-siege defenses that a specialist has to be assigned to that one? Because it's the only one that doesn't say that, and I'm just double checking.
Yes, it has to have at least all of these have to have at least a specialist assigned to them.
Okay, just because that was my assumption, but it doesn't say that, so
Yep,
I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
is that a place where we don't have to assign a specialist?
Well we don't technically.
You do.
We just lose engagement.
well,
oh, okay.
the thing that I copied it over from explicitly says assign 1 squad and 2 specialists to this supply mission. So,
Oh,
oh
shit.
boy.
but
2.
actually, do we say you got siege weapons at some point?
I think we
Yeah.
found some.
I basically foreshadowed the siege weapon mission
Okay, but you didn't.
by saying there were siege weapons that were like,
it's got-
run down,
Yes,
unkept.
100%. But as a long-term project, we didn't build any siege weapons, so don't worry about that.
Right.
No.
As a fan of the players, I'm going to give you one piece of it. I don't know. I don't even want to call this advice. I'm going to say, just in terms of like us, I'm going to hold your hands. And I'm going to say, you should put Aisling in the tunnels.
Okay.
That's what I was
concerning.
suggesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deeply frightening.
Aisling loves bombs. Aisling's always carrying a single Acme
Yeah.
bomb.
Black one with our string.
Exactly.
So
My fear was
Like a
that
Rocky and Bullwinkle villain.
You have like nobody with rig.
Aisling does have the pale pallor of Boris and Natasha.
So real quick, I just want to make sure I understand the specialist requirements here.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, reinforce the gates, requires a specialist.
Yep.
The second one, the recon, requires 2 specialists.
Up to.
All the other ones, up to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. So then the only one,
You have to have at least one. Some of them have caps on how many you can send.
okay, so all of them have to have at least one, which means that we can't double up with any of them.
we can double up with 1 because we have 6 specialists.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6 missions.
It's
But
5.
there are only 5.
There are only 5
Oh,
here.
are there?
Yeah.
There's 5
Oh, my
missions.
bad, my bad.
I still think the double up is
Okay.
the burying the chosen one. I feel like
Really?
I think
It feels
the
like
double up is the
hold a lower
assault.
path. Yeah. That's way
Yeah.
more important.
I guess my one thing there is like I kind of want to put Lance on the siege weapon one just because like Aoife's pretty good as an independent entity. Like she doesn't need like group actions and stuff to like do a lot. So I don't think she necessarily needs that help. I guess that is like a really important mission
It's-
though.
What if
It's
we...
the one mission that we don't have a clock for. So last mission, it took a lot of group actions and Eva shooting Crimson Shot twice. So
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be that bonkers, but
Should I put Nabane on the siege weapons then?
No, I don't think. I think that. So we also have to think about the engagement role here.
Yeah.
And
I almost wonder if Lance makes sense on reinforcing the gates. Sorry to interrupt you, Matthew.
no, you're good.
I guess Lance could reinforce the gates with discipline.
Yeah, it feels like it could be just like coordinating the people doing that as opposed
Sure.
to getting, like Lance actually.
So then Kayo on siege
that.
weapons or Kayo on assault?
I think siege weapons just for the rig.
Just to finish that thought, I would honor lead from the front on the reinforcing the gates.
Nice.
Well, in that case,
Baller.
Well, the other thing to think about here is for reinforcing the gates, we do have Mal, the blacksmith, who would definitely be running,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, like
And
Mal
so-
should absolutely be there.
And so, in terms of playing to our strengths, like Lance is really good at group actions, and we're going to have to do a lot of group actions against big tier enemies for that last assault mission.
Mm-hmm.
And
Assault mission.
Sorry, yeah, the assault mission, yeah.
To clarify, I'm not saying that's your last assault mission.
Sure. Okay, got it. The last in this list.
Yep. Yeah, here, so just cards on the table. There will be something after this, and then we'll do the last wave, which is the much contested, are we going to roll dice for the entire end of the campaign, which I have some ideas about how to handle that.
Sure. Anyway, Lance is really good at doing a lot of damage in a group. Even if Eva is an independent operator, like there's still a squad on this mission, and Eva is going to be played by one of us. There's still 3 more people who will be playing somebody on this mission.
In that case, if it was Lance and Aoife, characters that I've played a lot of, I probably would give Lance to somebody else just because Aoife's mechanics are really fiddly and I know them the best.
Sure, totally. My pitch here, which is maybe controversial, is since we have to have one specialist at least on each, I would say let's put Nicolaj on reinforcing the gates. Because Nicolaj does have a discipline, but also has research and could go through the records of like, okay, how is this supposed to be set up? And maybe also a little bit of prophecies, like where do we need to make sure that these are reinforced?
I mean, I could see him on the siege weapons too as being kind of like a weird fucking Archimedes guy.
Of like, yeah, shoot there.
We could. I think we could basically use Kayo or Nikolaj interchangeably on anti-siege defenses and reinforce the gates. That's my pitch. And then keep Lance and Aoife for the assault mission.
And then Nebane on burying the Chosen.
Yeah, that's like his whole deal, is burying Chosen.
There's something very like narratively satisfying about the idea of Nikolaj like leading an effort to both like command rookies in order to protect everyone, while still being narratively as far from combat as possible.
It's very Nikolaj. I also like Kayo on the supply on the anti-siege defenses one, because you got to get to those cliffside positions, and they just got a second point of maneuver.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
how do you do, fellow mountaineers?
Yeah, I think there's also something really interesting with like the turn that Kris was playing. Wait, was that Kris? Who was playing Nikolaj in the last, like the mission with Walut and Gemma and
that was me.
And Lance?
Yeah, that was Kris.
That was okay. Good. Just making sure that I wasn't misremembering. There was like the change of Nikolaj from being like, I am going to flee to save my own skin, to I'm going to flee and ensure that as many people as possible save their skins. So it's like that same cowardice that drives him is still there, but it's been widened, and I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So I think we got the specialists figured out. Now I guess we got to figure out the squads.
Yeah, and
there's some of these squads we've like never fucking talked about.
I think one of them is just made out of starving refugees, like people who.
Please, God, we've been here for months. We're so hungry.
Haven't had a thing to eat in ages.
Well, I mean, we've mixed around squads so much, so I wouldn't worry too much about squads. I would think more about like what characters are we interested in putting there?
I'm just saying that it's always the Ember Wolves or the Grinning Ravens.
We've had the Star Vipers. They were
the Star Vipers. True. That's the Freaky Lad squad.
Blight Gang.
Speaking of Blight Gang, I think it'd be fun to have Gemma with Walut and Aisling or Aisling.
Yeah. Also, Gemma's a spy, so like scouting out those tunnels, that fits as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just have more Walut Gemma tension happening.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Aisling is just doing shit in the background, just getting things done.
I think it totally makes sense to have Obeek with Kayo
I was going to say the same thing.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The Grinning Ravens on the assault makes sense because Dorado's there to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's do Dorado.
Oh, also Dorado did get a XP for that last mission because she was played for a little bit. So I think she's got enough for an ability. If I don't know how much that matters, but
I'd say it matters.
What I'm really thinking we should focus on is having 4 characters for the 4 of us to play on each of these.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We have
and then
enough.
we can worry about like squads and rookies.
Yeah, that's absolutely
after that.
fair.
True.
Okay. So we got a couple obvious ones, at least for the assault and the tunnels. So Nikolaj at the gates. Is that just going to be some randos?
Yeah, I think if there's one
I think so.
to like drop off people, like I don't think there's going to be a lot of scenes there necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's mostly going to be a long-term project. It might get tricky at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Make the starving ones do the manual labor.
Well, we have like I think more than enough squads, right? How many squads do we have?
That's a good question. How many?
We have 6. Not all of them are full, but we do have 6 squads. Most of them are full. Most of them have 5 people.
Yeah,
I think we have some reserves too.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I took over the marshal duties, I was very confused by what was going on
We
here.
have 1 reserve, and they are so much a copy.
Yeah, silver stags, ghost owls, never before seen before. Shattered lions, that's the starving squad, or was starving squad.
Does everyone want to just... Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, Brendan, please.
I was going to say, does everyone want to just start grabbing copy of copies and start giving them names?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's maybe we can do this per mission, like figure out what squad is on each mission, and then go through and like each of us take a mission and name everybody.
Sure, that makes sense.
Sick.
All right.
Like, just to make things easier, we could go ahead and say the Silver Stags, for example, are going to be with Nikolaj on the gate.
Sure. Who is TK rookie?
That's TK, famous character.
No, it's 3TK. We call them 3TK.
Fan favorite 3K.
3 stacks.
Right.
3T. 3 stacks. What if TK is played by Andre 3000?
What if?
I was just thinking this.
It's like lorem ipsum, but
I see.
easier to type.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Andre, it's Andre 3000 bombs over Baghdad.
Right.
That's who TK is.
Good.
So obviously Star Vipers are going to be in the tunnels and Grinning Ravens are going to be on the assault. The Ember Wolves, those are the boys that got wrecked, right?
Yep. Who very recently had Dragon Rot corroded.
Okay now.
Oh yeah, let's keep him with Kayo for sure.
We have one on reserve that we could put there.
Tire 2.
Tirer.
Thrier.
So that means Nabane is going to be leading the Ghost Owls.
Sure, yeah. Why not?
Love that.
Cool. Okay, so we got the squad names for each one. Now we just need to figure out who the fuck we're going to play on all these.
I have a request for the Ghost Owls squad since we've never seen them before. Can this be a predominantly Kaimorty squad?
Absolutely.
So we can get some, like, this is the Kaimorty's whole shit, is like traveling around and burying Chosen and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kale would have wanted to be there, but, you know.
Kale wearing like a pair of fake bunny ears to try and like sneak in.
No, Kale's going to be a Jedi ghost there.
Oh, great.
Are you about to say played by Hayden Christensen?
God.
I did describe Kale as being kind of Yoda-esque a few times, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, history's greatest monster, Yoda.
Hayden Christensen, God. I can't think about Hayden Christensen without thinking of
thinking of Jumper, the great movie about teleportation, absolutely.
No, without thinking of...
That was a fun movie, though.
I don't remember what it's called. I think it might just be called Little Italy, about feuding pizza restaurant. It's Romeo and Juliet, but pizza restaurants in Toronto's Little Italy neighborhood.
Yo, that
and I'm
sounds
like, this is a thing that is real?
Yeah, that was good.
This is a thing that is real.
Alyssa Milano's in this?
What the fuck?
We had other soldiers left, right? At least one?
I don't think the only ones were... Who?
Well, Shukt is a soldier now.
Right, Shukt is a soldier. The only other two that I think we had were Rachel, who, to my knowledge, hasn't come back from Udet's people, and Thar, who we have not seen since Novara.
Udet's people are here.
Yeah, but I don't know that Rachel has, like, rejoined the Legion.
Right.
We never did like a downtime project to like relocate Rahel or something.
No, we didn't.
Right.
I feel like if we recruited and boosted, we could have gotten Rahel back, but...
Right, no, that makes sense. Okay, but we at least have Shukt, and it's worth thinking about where do we want an extra soldier here?
Yeah, because we can... Shukt is currently in the Ember Wolves, but we can put them elsewhere.
Right. They kind of just proved themselves as, like, pretty good as a leader.
Yeah, maybe the Stags? Nikolaj could maybe use the help there.
Yeah, because so far there's no other named characters on the Silver Stag.
Well, right, but
there
this
doesn't
one
need to be.
Yeah, it's not really a real mission. The first one is more of like a long-term project.
Okay.
True.
So I would rather have Shukt actually maybe with Nabane, just because there is going to be fighting off weird star creatures.
And
there.
Shukt is Kaimorty.
Yeah, and they could be in charge of that while Nabane is focused on a ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I think, are we out of named characters?
No, I haven't put...
I'm thinking about...
oh, wait, we might be. Let me see.
I think we are, because everyone in the Ember Wolves is named, We have Dorado in the Grinning Ravens, Aisling, and Gemma.
Bowie.
Bowie, I don't think ever got played. It's just a name I put down at some point.
I think I made
I
up
was thinking
Bowie
more-
in one scene during a downtime.
Yeah, in the Well of Icario. And that's when we learned that.
No, we saw a lot of Bowie in the Capitol. Backflip
okay.
Bowie, as we
Yeah.
know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Famous.
He's just like a fucking weird TikTok dude.
What I'm thinking more is just like characters we are that we like want to have interactions with
Yes.
on screen.
Yeah.
Like being explicitly called out in these bullets, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think everyone should
Gotcha.
play who they want to play
Yeah.
in these moments.
I mean, like, Aoife doesn't really have any characters on her squad that she's had like history with. Like Lance and Dorado aren't really people that Aoife has beef or chemistry with, but I think she's just going to be on her own doing big shots. So I don't think it matters.
Okay, this is interesting. Who are you going to play out of Lance and Aoife?
Oh, that's what I was saying. I was going to play Aoife because her mechanics are more fiddly.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll make Gavin play Lance.
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
I will play Lance. I built Lance for this.
Chris, would you play Dorado here?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay. In which case, yeah, so that would be like, who does Matthew want to play there that might have chemistry with some of these folks?
Who's on the Grinning Ravens?
The only named
do we have
character we
anybody
have
named?
there is Dorado. So
Okay.
you can,
So I'll just be some new rookie. That's fine.
Okay.
Then it's Nabane Shukt. Assumably, Devin, you'll take Shukt again.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it'll just be some rookie for both Kris and Gavin. Kayo is Kris. Obviously, Obeek is Gavin. Do you want to be Obeek again?
I could be Obeek again. If somebody really wants to be Obeek, go ahead.
I'm not. I don't feel particularly strongly about it. How about you, Devin?
No.
Okay.
I'm always happy to pick up a rando and give them some random ass characteristic.
Well, so Ember Wolf specifically has named people, so we should probably stick with them.
Okay.
yeah, everyone
So
is
we
named.
have
Bowie and
Bowie
Mustang.
and Mustang, who I don't remember
just-
at all.
Mustang just came in.
I just pulled that over from the reserves.
Oh, and then we have
Okay.
Yvonne, Born of Umber, the
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
we got mixed up about. I'm up for playing either Bowie or Yvonne. Devin, do you have a preference?
Nope.
I'll be Yvonne.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
I'll be Bowie then.
Be a shadow gender.
Yeah, it can be a shadow gender. That's
Okay.
close to Gemma.
Cool. So siege weapon mission is good to go.
Yep. Recon.
That's gonna be Waloot, Gemma, and Aisling. So we would need one more.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
be. I can be a rando rookie.
Who? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I
So
call dibs on Waloot.
Yeah,
yeah. Please.
That's
please call
of
dibs.
course.
Devin, you want to be Aisling?
Oh, of course. I love being Aisling.
Matthew,
we
you want
have-
to be Gemma?
Do we have anybody named on Star Vipers?
Beyond Gemma and Aisling, no.
Oh, really? I thought we had.
Yeah, Thar and Rachel. They're
Our
right,
Raquel
yeah,
used to
yeah,
be
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, that was our soldier squad for a while.
I really hope that.
And yeah, there's a lot of people who died from the Star Vipers.
Shout out to
Yeah, I
Rao.
really hope that Thar shows up as like a freaky zombie. That'll be fun.
Oh my god. Thar shows up as like an anti-Joe. Like, oh wait, we have
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
broken.
We do. We do.
Yeah, but also,
As an
anti-specialist.
but also, like
Anti-specialist.
I want Thar to show up at the assault because then Lance, it's
Oh,
little
yeah,
Lance,
that's great.
but like
Here, I'm gonna
dark
put a
little
little note
Lance.
here. I'm gonna put a note here, and I'm gonna put it in red, and I'm gonna say, Brendan, please make Thar show up here to make Lance sad.
I'm looking.
Okay, there we go.
I'm witnessing.
Okay, cool. Okay, and then the first one, oh, Kris, I gave you 2 S's. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought that was
first
the
one
name
we've
of a
got-
cool new rookie.
It could be.
What's up?
The first one we've
I'm
got-
Kris. I like knives.
Nikolaj and Mal. Kris, you want to be Nikolaj in case we need somebody to actually embody Nikolaj for the first one?
Yeah, I can do that.
Does anybody have a Mal in them?
I don't know a whole lot
Mal.
about Mal
Or
even at this point.
Gavin?
They were just like a really strong lady, right?
That's probably
Yeah,
true.
she's a blacksmith, and she's dope.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
believe
these-
Arcadian.
These are the things I remember about Mal. I remember she was a cool Arcadian lady.
I feel like that's Brendan's wheelhouse, technically.
I mean, I was thinking more for the for the players to have a person to play.
No, I mean like playing. Anyway,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, we could certainly have Brendan just play Mal, since Mal also doesn't have stats.
Yeah.
Right.
we could just put rotating in, like, because we all rotate around
Right.
Suleiman. So
Oh, what if? Yeah, I kind of like. the idea.
Suleiman's going to be at the burying the chosen one.
I think Brendan knows where Suleiman's going to be,
Okay.
and is just waiting.
Suleiman is inexplicably on all 5 missions.
I've been quintuplets the whole time.
That's why you kept stealing so much food from the.
Okay, cool. Brendan, should we put people on particular characters for reinforce the gates? Are we going to have to like do roles and mechanics to that extent? Not to tip your hand too much.
No, I think even if the answer is yes, I don't think that's going to be the case. That
Okay.
you're going to need to like play it as a scene, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Now-
To be clear, like what I mean is, if a situation comes up that is like, oh, an enemy is here, then I think that's Nicolaj making a roll of some kind to be like attack that
Gotcha.
enemy or something.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Then I think we're through this.
So for each of these, I just have like a number of like question marks, which are just going to be the randos that we're going to add. Mm-hmm. So we need 1 rando for the Star Vipers, 2 randos for the Ghost Owls, 1 rando for the Grinning Ravens, and then it's going to be all randos on the Silver Stags.
Close to all randos. We have.
I think we moved Shoot there.
Oh no! Silver Shoot is on the Owls, the Ghost Owls.
Oh, okay. Silver Stag. Okay,
Yeah.
I mixed up which mission the Silver Stags were on.
So yeah, I have Nicolaj and no other named characters on the gate. I have Willute, Gemma, Ashling plus 1 rando on the tunnels. I have Kayo, Obeek, Bowie, and Ivan on the siege weapons. I have Nabane and Shukt on the plus 2 randos on the Bearing the Chosen. And then I have Aoife, Lance, Dorado plus 1 rando on the assault.
Yep.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we do have Mal on the reinforcing the gates, which I only add because you get an extra die for each laborer who contributes,
Yeah,
and
that's exactly
she is
why I
one.
Make sure to keep her there.
Contributes, words. It's fine.
Do we have a sense of which of these we want to tackle first?
That was my last question.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was reading it off your notes, actually.
That was another thing, right?
That's up to the commander.
I think I lean either the anti-siege defenses or the close the tunnels. Or the barrier. Pretty much the assault is it's just not the assault. For the first one, at least, in my head.
The assault is maybe last. Isn't there one of these that's like
Going
helps
on
the others immediately once it's finished?
I don't know.
That's the
Maybe. Oh, can we use intel on? Like, when would
Yes.
intel
Yes.
come into play? Is my
yeah.
question.
So all of these are going to work the same way that a regular mission would, which is to say, as part of the mission phase, I present you the available missions. The very next step you can do is ask the GM questions based on current intel. So I think what you get is you get the set of GM questions that you would get based on your current intel, which is whatever it is that we had. Is 3 + 2 from the Spy Master is 5. So you get all of those questions, and then you can spend that to improve the engagement roll of any of these missions that you choose.
All right. But for the sake of like knowing how many intel we have to like spend, because do the Spy Master intel does just give us questions?
Yeah,
The
that's true.
spreadsheet says
That's
we
true.
have 3.
That's true.
So
You get
I just want to know
yeah.
like how many do we actually have to spend?
Yeah, that's true. You have
3 to spend. If we're going
3
with
to
that.
spend,
Okay.
but you can ask questions from all 4 blocks of questions,
Yeah.
which I'll...
Well, yeah. We'll have 6 total questions because we were at 3 until naturally, which means we get the 4 questions we normally would get, and then we have 2 extra questions.
Yes, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The 2 extra questions from any
You
list.
can-
But when it comes to spending intel, we have 3 intel to spend.
Yep.
Okay.
You
So
can
long as I
ask-
have all of that in
I'm-
order, then that's
I'm
fine.
going to write that down in mission discussions.
That's solid. Because, yeah, I would probably want to see if there's a question I could ask that would, give an answer of like, yeah, which of these is the one that makes sense to start with. But I can't think of that right now because a headache is threatening me.
Oh, no. All right. Well, then in that case, I have one last question that we can wrap up unless anyone else has got anything else. What do y'all do vis-a-vis UDET?
I mean, she's going to get involved as she wants to get involved, right? There's nothing we can really do about her, can we?
I don't know. It's up to you.
We want
Can we
her
ask her
on
where
the
she
assault
wants
mission.
to be? Pardon, Gavin? I'm sorry for talking over you.
We want her on the assault mission.
You do. Probably. I mean, that's where I kind of assumed that she would just go to. But I wonder if it would be worth, like, asking her, where do you want to be? Because I don't know if she would be like, yeah, let me be at this burial. Or building anti-siege defenses. I don't know. I just don't know. I assumed the assault, but...
She doesn't know that fucking Chosen, so I don't think she's going to be at the funeral.
I have a question for Brendan.
Yeah.
Is UDET still tier 4?
Yeah. I think so.
Interesting. Okay. Then yeah, I think assault makes the most sense. Though it will cost us an engagement roll die. But we could just make that up with an intel spend.
And we'll also have, I think having our chosen on that's a worthy price.
Yeah.
Sure.
Especially if fucking Ruin shows up again.
Yeah. Does anyone, we don't have to do the whole scene, but does anyone approach to, inquire after that circumstance?
I mean, she was kind of avoiding her people, right?
She was, yeah. I think someone in the Legion could find her if they wanted to. Skydiver is not that big.
This is the opportunity for us to pay off that discussion we had off mic about this isn't UDET being like God isn't real. This is UDET being like, this form of Mitzrayim worship is not working for me. What's gonna work for me?
Yeah.
So maybe she talks to Suleiman, or Suleiman seeks her out.
Oh, man.
Or, we can have Rahel show up and be like that. Or...
But Suleiman, just because he's sort of... follows his own path.
He's not... I've been, intentionally depicting, an Orthodox version of Judaism among UDET and UDET's people. I'm sort of, putting my own, progressive bend on it by having the chosen be a woman and that being respected. But anyway, shade aside, Suleiman is clearly not of that sect denomination. Suleiman's not part of that denomination.
He doesn't even seem religious, really.
And maybe this is a point where we can show oh, maybe he is actually more religious than we expected.
Yeah. Okay.
I hinted at maybe there's another chosen out there who may or may not be still alive that's based on Elijah the prophet.
Okay, I've got a clear idea here, I think. Gavin, tell me where Suleiman goes to observe or to worship privately. Here in the keep somewhere. Or in the surroundings. You're in the mountains, remember. There's plenty of places to go.
I'm deciding whether I want to do like a reform bent or like my actual personal Judaism bent. And like my actual personal Judaism would be like finding a broken thing and, just working on it. To fix it.
I can suggest something there.
Sure.
The central tower that juts up towards the sky, and its top third is rubble.
Yeah, so maybe he's like waist up, shirtless. Mm-hmm. We see like he might be scrawny, but he's not like delicate, I guess is the right word.
Mm-mm.
He's been heavy lifting and doing shit. Like he's fit. He's not ripped or anything,
right.
But he's fit.
Yeah.
And he's just picking
hot.
up rocks.
You get it, yeah.
No, he's
hot to somebody.
He's hot, but he's not like hot because he's got 6-pack abs. He's hot because
he's just a person in the world that does the work.
Yeah, that does the work.
Yeah.
Capital T, capital W, Tikkun Olam shit. And he's just throwing rocks off the edge.
Yeah, I think
picking them up, carrying them to the edge, and dropping them.
Yeah, he's done this so many times, and this time there's like he can tell there's someone else there. There's someone else there doing the same thing, and it takes a moment. It sounds like there's a bunch of people there, but he stops for a brief moment, and he hears the quiet singing, and he like respectfully just sort of keeps to his own business and finishes the patch that he's doing until it's all clear, wipes the dirt off his hands, and turns the corner. And Yudet is here, and I think for the first time we see her cloak cast aside, her tall, sprawling form, likewise doing the work, all 4 arms unfurled, tossing rocks off the side. And as her space is finished, she stands at her full height, looking beyond, not at the sky, but up towards wherever it is the Lord of Song is, and singing. OATHSWORN is an actual play podcast created by
Devin Nelson,
Gavin Fregeau,
Kris Allison,
Matthew Guzdial,
and me, Brendan McLeod. All music for the show is created by Devin Nelson. Find it and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Find a link to their music and any of the games that we've played in the podcast description. Follow us at OathSwornPod on Twitter or at OathSwornPodcast.com. If you enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with a friend or rating us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice. Until next time.